weeks ago, NASCAR did finally approve it. From a safety perspective, their independent panel of experts approved it as well. And so actually in the last couple of weeks, next-gen chassis have been shipped out to all of the Cup Series teams to begin assembling. Now, this is not the first time the next-gen car has spun out or crashed in a test. William Byron was the first driver all the way back at Auto Club, I believe, early in 2020 to spin out. There have been conflicting reports about if there was any damage sustained, how damaged the car got in that test. But point is, it's clear the next-gen car is a little edgy by itself, edgier than the current Gen 6 is, at least with the 550 horsepower package. Could also just be Texas Motor Speedway. We've seen plenty of drivers get just a little bit too high into that PJ1 where it hasn't been activated, hasn't been heated up yet, and it's very easy to slip and slide and spin out.
Shoot. iRacing. Man, this is day one stuff. Okay. Hopefully I have sound now. SimLab. What was that? Oh. These are pretty fun. I can talk while I drive them, so I'm not really that worried about them tearing up. Hopefully we have sound now. We didn't have sound before. Hopefully we have sound. Not sure if we will or not. Let's get this old join right here. Oh, me. Quite tired. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to stay awake today. It's 11:15 here on the East Coast. East Coast, West Coast, South Coast, North Coast. Not really a North Coast. More like a Northern Hemisphere, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, talking about acute care, long-term care. So I spent 3 years in acute care working nights. And then I left acute care. I was on the only diabetic ICU in the state of North Carolina at the time. I don't even know if a diabetic ICU still exists. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You know, I don't know. Anyways, it was a diabetic step-down unit. We had 6 patients to ourselves. Well, I'll say to ourselves. A nurse had 6 patients. A team consisted of 2 nurses and 1 CNA, 12 patients total.
You got a toy car on the right. Go left.
And went from there. And that was like your entire team. You know, you only had 12 patients total, 2 nurses for 12 patients. Yeah, a lot of people had like drips and things like that, but you know, it wasn't the same load as at a nursing home. At a nursing home, you have like a huge load of like 25 patients under yourself, and everybody has meds that are due like 7:30 to 9 or whatever it is. You know, you got an hour before and an hour after. You know, because everybody at the nursing home has 17,000 meds. Where are you at? There you are. And it made like no sense as to why everybody had so many meds. Oh, I thought I could say it, but I could not. But it made like no sense as to why everybody had so many meds due in long-term care. I mean, it does because, you know, that's what everybody's there for. But you didn't have a team, you know, you're like by yourself. You had your CNAs underneath you, but that was really it. Oh, I'm going right again. Dang. They were driving, hee-haw talking. What do they call him? Swerving Irvin. They were driving, hee-haw talking, something looking. I don't know. Anyways, it was just a lot different in the long-term care than it was in the acute care. You know, there's so many more patients in the long-term care than there were in acute care.
1 minute 55.873. Car right.
Well, I'm glad I got around you. Yeah, whereas, and the CNAs were like the best in acute care. It's like they knew, you know, they had made it. They were like, you know, nowhere else are you going to be able to like watch Netflix at work other than being like an acute care CNA, because you get, you know, you're one with 2 nurses and 12 patients is your total max. You know, and if census is low, you could be as low as like 9 or something like that. And then, not only that, but you have like 2 other CNAs on the same unit to help you. Okay, good. Can you hear me now? Oh, good. I had to restart my computer. It did an update, and it didn't like the update. You know, in acute care... Oh, I'm going back around. Nope, can't save it. Put it in the grass.
You cut that corner and got a slow down penalty.
I didn't cut that corner. In acute care, your CNAs like knew they were set. You know, they knew that they were good. They knew they were golden from the start. You know, all this and that and the other, and it was, you know, they were amazing.
1 minute 48.567.
Amazing to work with, amazing to work for. You know, things like that. It was awesome to have those CNAs, because our whole entire team was like, or our entire unit, I think it was 36. So 12 is 24. So 3 entire teams. So that's 3 CNAs, 6 nurses plus a charge nurse, and then potentially a nurse manager on the acute care side. Whereas on the long-term care side, you're looking at 36 all by yourself as the nurse. You know, and you are probably the charge nurse, and like you might have 3 CNAs,
slow car ahead,
4 staff members total. As you're just completely understaffed.
Go right.
Where did you come from?
Car on your left.
Right
Clear on the
around.
left.
And you were just completely understaffed as a CNA, or as a nurse in long-term care. And it's just that way everywhere you go. I think that's why they pay more, because you're just so overworked. Oh, I'm going around him. But yes, to answer your question, I did play Forza on the regular Xbox, the very, very first Xbox, the one that didn't have numbers. It's just called the Xbox. What does this say? CNA work is okay. I got a park.
1 minute
CNA work is okay. When I was training, I had to change a female that was on her monthly, and she had a bowel movement. So one time, I got a story about that too. I was younger. I'd already had a child too. Like my oldest daughter was already born, and I had a patient that it was her time, and I came in the room, and all of a sudden saw the sight and freaked out. You know, looking back, I should have been like, wait a minute, I should check this first. But, you know, I see a bunch of blood somewhere, and I didn't know where it was coming from at the time. I just knew there was blood somewhere. Freaked out, called my team leader in there, and I was like, hey, we got blood coming from somewhere. Like, it's all over the place. So, patient has no idea what's going on because they weren't, they were not with it, we'll say. And she was like, Chris, you're an idiot.
Car stop on the left.
This is how this works. I was like, oh.
Car stop on the left.
Oh yeah, man, I
Go
freaked
right.
out. The first time I
You
saw
got a
that,
slow car on the right.
I freaked out. I was in acute care for that, but I was,
You got a slow car on the right.
terrible time. Just not thinking on my part. Just not
1
thinking at
minute
all.
50.061. Go
Coming
left.
back at me.
Slow car ahead. Car stopped ahead. Go left.
What does it say? Freaked out a little bit. My teacher was telling me. I think I freaked out just so bad because I couldn't figure out where the blood was coming from. It wasn't like it was a massive active bleed. It's just all of a sudden I walk in and there's blood and I have no idea where it's coming from. I was like, the IV site is dry. There's nothing there in the IV site. I haven't, phlebotomy hasn't been in here. I don't know what's going on. My team lead was like, she was like, Chris, dude, come on, you gotta do better than this. Oh, it was, but like if I was in a long-term care, who knows what I would have thought, in that mindset, I wouldn't have had the time to freaking figure it out. I would have just probably sent her out, which would have been the wrong thing to do. Doc, I gotta call you, man. I can't find the blood. She's actively bleeding something. I could imagine I would have gotten, like, if I would have sent somebody out in a long-term care facility for that, I would have been in some serious trouble.
1 minute 37.329.
I never did, but I did send people out quickly. I would send you out in a hurry. And that's one thing, like when I was in acute care, like around Christmas time, you could tell that the nursing homes were sending people out because they didn't have the staff. And I worked long-term care for all of the the big major holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, things like that. I was at the long-term care, and I can tell you, man, it was hard to even get agency staff because everybody was like visiting family or we're from out of state or whatever. We're going back home, things like that.
Stopped on the right.
Long-term care story. All right, well, let's hear your long-term care story. Let's hear this thing, or I'll read it. You type it, yeah, because I can't listen to the monitor. I guess I could. I'd have to do like voice to text or something. Oh, I'm going back around.
You cut the course, you've got to slow down and give up that time.
I did not cut the course. Got loose.
Car stop on the left.
Yes, I will. Oh.
1 minute 43.75.
1 minute 43. I sent.
You got a slow car on the right. Car
I don't know
stop
about you,
on the
but
right.
when I
Go
was long
left.
term, everybody like wanted to be sent out
Car
for
on
like
your left. Clear.
weird stuff. They'd be like, oh well,
Car stopped ahead.
I need to be sent out because I don't know, my toenail broke. That's my thumbnail, but my toenail broke. I need to be sent out. I'm like, I'm not sending you out for a broken toenail. We'll get podiatry to cut that thing in the
Car
morning.
stopped on the right.
Whenever they come in. You don't need to be sent out for that.
Car stopped on the right. Go left.
good old podiatry, man. Podiatry, that's where the money's at there. Go to like long-term care facilities, cut everybody's toenails that needs their toenails cut, or you know, whatever it may be. Bring in the big dollars. I had a doctor that said that a podiatrist isn't a doctor. He was very opinionated about podiatrists. He was not a long-term care facility physician. He was actually an urgent care physician, but awesome dude. Did not like podiatrists. Did not.
You got a slow car on the right. Go left.
What are you doing, car?
1 minute 35.127.
He was awesome, that doctor. I feel like I sent one out one time that came right back. They were like, yeah, we're not even gonna bother with that. I can't remember what it was for. But I feel like the ED was like, not even messing with that, Chris. Why did you even do that? You're being ridiculous with that one. And I was like, hey, I took it as a serious problem at the time. So when I went into long-term care, let me read this one real quick. It was a housekeeping for a nursing home, cleaning some rooms. The other scene minutes. The other scene is like 5 minutes. The other scene they walk mad. Were they like legit like throwing bows, boom, boom, boom? You know, like fist fighting. I never had seen a like full on fist fight, but I've, you know, that would be awesome if they were like full on legit throwing down, pulling hair, you know, gouging eyes and whatnot. That would be awesome. Full on MMA, Conor McGregor. That would be awesome. I'm sure those people were gone after that. Oh, I'm going around. Sorry. That was definitely my fault there. Spun that joker right around. Oh. They was grabbing hair. Yeah, that'd be awesome to see that. When I left the DICU, the diabetic ICU, and then went to long-term care, and like, so it took me like a little bit of adjusting, because I was seeing like blood sugars on the DICU, like it was not uncommon to see a 400 all the way up to the highest I think I saw was like 1200 one time. You know, that was not uncommon at all. Well, when I got to long-term care, I'm seeing like 280. I'm like, walk that off. And those long-term care people were like, no, this is, you gotta call the doc. I was like, wait a minute. I seen people walking, talking, you know, at 30. Y'all are fine. Let me give you some Lantus. Some Levemir, you know, whatever you got going on. Let me hook you up with how many units it is. So that was definitely a huge adjustment for me. Was going from the lab values from the long-term care to the acute care, or you know, vice versa, because I went acute care to long-term care. It was so much fun doing that mess. Just, you know, people be freaking out because, oh, my blood sugar's whatever it is. Like, oh, you're fine. Walk that off. But no. Call the doc now. I had some good docs working with me at the long-term care that actually, despite, you know, being in long-term care, like I never talked to the doc, the main doc, what do you call him? Not chief of medicine. That's what I have now, but I can't think of what you call him. But anyways, he was really cool. I never really talked to him, like, hardly ever. And then all of a sudden, like, my last day at the long-term care, he was like, hey, like, he made a, special trip to see me. He's like, hey, I heard it's your last day. I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, we're going to miss you here. Medical director. He was the medical director. Gracious, that took entirely too long for me to think of. But he was our medical director, and he, like, made a special trip to see me. I was like, that's cool, man, Really didn't want to stay, I don't know if he's trying to talk me
Car
into
stopped
staying.
ahead.
But, it was what it was. But,
Go right.
Oh! Somehow I did not go around. What does that say there? One nurse is like 21 that will never help. Yes. Oh! Dang, I was reading the thing. Shit. It looked ridiculous. Yes. That one nurse is like 21. Yeah, I feel like I was that 28-year-old nurse, actually. That's how old I was when I was 28 or 29. When I was a nurse. I feel like I was that 28 or 29-year-old nurse. Maybe even that later 30s old nurse. No, I try to help out now as much as I can. I try to do, like, too much so I have job security. As bad as that sounds. It sounds terrible, I know, but, like, I don't want to, like, I feel like, in my mind, I feel like if I do so much more than everybody else, then my job is not going to be taken. As weird as that is, in my mind, that's how it works, like if there are mass layoffs or whatever, it's like, oh, well, Chris does so much more, we're going to keep him around longer. Not that there's ever going to be mass layoffs. But if there ever are, and I think even when I was like 28, 29, I feel like it wasn't necessarily that I wouldn't help anybody. How did I loop it again? I don't think it's that I wouldn't help anybody. I think it's just that I didn't know how to help anybody when I was a brand new nurse. Like, I didn't know how to help as a new grad. I think it looks worse, as a 21-year-old, because you probably play on your phone a lot, which, I didn't really play on my phone a lot, because I'm gonna be that guy, be old. They didn't really exist like they do now. But I just didn't know how to help, I'll say. You're 21 to be a LPN in long-term care right now.
Green flag,
well,
green
that's
flag.
good. Be sure you find a good one. The long-term care facility I worked at actually went out of
Okay, here
business.
comes your first time lap.
They got bought out by somebody else. And at 20 years old, man, that's awesome. Like, when I was 20, I was... what was I doing at 20? Well, I was working for Chevrolet. I never thought I would ever be a nurse at 20. I was working for Chevrolet, and I was actually talking to my daughter about this today. I bought a brand new... I had a brand new 04 Silverado. I had one Mustang GT. I had just sold another Mustang GT. And I had a motorcycle. And I was making killer money because the economy hadn't crashed yet. And had not a care in the world. Did not care about any sort of education at all. Had like no goals. I was just a punk kid at 20 years old with too much money who liked to buy things. And reality really hit me. And I had to go to nursing school. And start for long-term care. Oh, shoot. I didn't even pay attention to the road, too. Yeah.
One more lap.
Mainly long-term cares hire LPNs.
1 minute 36.459.
Right this second is like the best time to become an LPN because there are so many jobs available for LPNs that it's ridiculous that before the Affordable Care Act in 2010 was like the last time all these jobs even existed that are still around or that are around now. You know, thanks to COVID. I know my kind of COVID's kind of, I don't want to say winding down. The numbers are sort of fluctuating up and down right now, but yeah, definitely LPNs are everywhere right now, especially long-term care. They've never really left long-term care. But there's like, if you get into like an acute care, long-term care, which actually does exist, you should check them out. That's where like the money is, and that's where the skills are. That's where like you will learn so much. Is that an acute care, long-term care? One that we have local is called Kindred. Kindred's not very good, but just the acute care part of it is, you know, you'll see trachs and vents and people on oxygen feeding tubes, things like that. It's awesome. And what you'll, I should have hit the brakes later.
Check it flag, check it
What you'll
flag.
find in acute care. Okay, become a police officer or an LPN. I'm not going to persuade you either way, because either way is an awesome career with awesome benefits. Agency is a terrible way to go in the beginning. It would be an awesome way to go once you know how everything works in long-term care, because agencies, they send you to long-term cares, and the long-term care is just so very happy to see you that they don't really care about you. Like I've been a charge nurse, and then like I'll get an agency nurse, and I may not even know their name. And you know, I'll say, walk in, thank you so much, you know, Mr. or Mrs. Nurse, here's your keys to your cow, go on, there's your MAR, here's your password, you know, like go. Thank you so much for showing up. So agency's good if you know how that already kind of works. Like definitely not do that first thing, because it's so hard to like teach yourself all the things that you need to know in long-term care. You really need that, like that camaraderie you get. Like if so if we're in school together and we're on the same like basketball team, but for whatever reason another kid is like homeschooled, but he comes in on the basketball team. Like I'm gonna pass the ball to you more than I am gonna pass the ball to the homeschool kid, because you know we're a team. We're together at school, and this kid's just here just for that basketball game or team or whatever it may be. You know, the same way it works for agency. They're they're helped, but it's not the same help that it is for your own staff. So your best bet is to go long-term care first. Do you like a year, 2 years, you know, something like that, and then all of a sudden go into agency. Agency pays so much. Agency pays a lot more, but I don't think they have the benefits that a lot of the long-term cares have. The long-term cares have killer benefits. Some of them do, not all of them. Some of them have killer benefits. But but that's, you know, it's definitely something to look into. And then if you go like home health, you could do per diem pay, and if you do that, that can be a lot. but then you're not really set any sort of hours. You just kind of like, they call you, hey Chris, can you come work this, and then you go do it. It's like constantly being on call. It's not the best either. This LPN that was making 50. Yeah, you can probably make $50 an hour with agency. Yeah, easy.
Green flag, green flag.
You could easily make $50 an hour. Oh, they run in the back of each other, and they're getting loose up front. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't make $50 an hour, but yeah, that's, that is definitely possible. It is not unimaginable to make 50 an hour. Don't tag me, I'll let you by.
Car on your left. Still there, hold your line. Slow
Oh,
car
dude.
ahead. Clear on the left, go left.
I'm trying to let you by. Oh well. But I will not be turbocharging the golf cart. Not because the want is not there. There is definitely a want to turbocharge the golf cart. But it's because I can't. It's an electric golf cart. So your prereqs. One thing about your prereqs, be sure you do all your prereqs before you actually go to nursing school. I did not do that because I was just, I saw that I
You
could
got a
do
slow car on the left.
some as co-recs.
1 minute 46.486.
Decided to do it that way, and it was much harder on myself to do it that way, as opposed to doing all my prereqs first. I should have done it that way. I mean, I still passed everything, but it was really hard to do prereqs while in nursing school. I mean, nursing school is not easy by no means.
Car stopped ahead.
And if you got prereqs on top of that, that mess is really hard. Even if the prereq is easy, like I had like Psych 115 or something like that. I don't even know if that's a real class, but it was a psych class, and I had to take high school chemistry. I never took high school chemistry.
Car right.
I had to take high school chemistry like 10th
Still
graders.
there, hold your line. Clear on the
It
right.
was aggravating. I ain't going back inside. I went around last time.
Left side.
Well, go on.
Stay on the right. Clear.
Got it. You're 20 years old. I mean, you're what, 2 years out of high school? Shoot. At least you have like an idea
1
what you
minute
want to do.
30.741.
I already had my first child before I went back to nursing school. Oh.
Car on your left. Clear on the left.
I'm trying to watch out for that car. And oh, round I go again. That's all right. Drop a Hellcat in the golf cart. If I had a Hellcat, I would. I do not have a Hellcat. I have, however, seen people drop a 302 in a golf cart, which I think it'd be easier to do a front-wheel drive swap because of the way the layout of the motor and the batteries and everything is, because it's laid out like a front-wheel drive. So you could probably do like a caddy, what they had, or the Oldsmobile 455, because actually they were long ways, but they were front wheel drive because of the way the transmission was mounted in them. So I could probably do that. I don't think I'd do a Hellcat. Dang, I looped it again. I'm not doing good. So is your school like an ECPI sort of thing? Because ECPI, they have like, well, for profit is what I should say, not just ECPI. But they have, like you can jump straight into it. A 302 is the old 50. 302 is a push rod 50. Now the Coyote is a 302, but it's got 4 cams, or 2 on each side, 2 on top. The 302, the 50, and the original Mustang, or not the original Mustang, but the older Mustangs, the Fox bodies and whatnot, they had a push rod, 1 single cam, 2 valves. They sounded so much better than the current Coyote. But yes, the 302 is a 50. South College, I've heard of South College in Nashville. My sister was stationed in Clarksville. She was in Campbell. I spent a little bit of time in Nashville when I was younger. I think I was about 20, actually, spending time in Nashville. Yeah, she would have been, I think that's right, yeah, it's about 2021. Spending time in Nashville. I ain't been back since, but yeah, she was in Clarksville, but yeah, we would go to Nashville. I feel like I've heard of South. But those, the for-profit schools, sister, she is a librarian. Yes, a librarian.
1 minute 32.376.
Didn't know that, did you? Yeah, the Army has all kinds of people. Anyways, she is, she didn't go to like basic or anything. She's a civilian contractor. But her husband is a major, so she sort of has an in. Man, that was like, wow, yeah, I don't think the economy had crashed yet. Yeah, I think it was like 06, 07. Wow, that was like 15 years ago, 14 years ago. Long time ago. It's hard to think that was that long ago for me. Because it feels like, you know, feels like 05 was like 2 weeks ago. But it was not.
1 minute 31.862.
Clarksville is a bad place now. Yeah, it really wasn't bad when she was there. Clarksville was, I mean, it wasn't like a vacation destination. Dang, I looped it again. The leader's gonna be on me in just a second. It wasn't like a vacation destination, but I mean, you know, it was a decent place. I wasn't like, you know, scared when I went there or anything. But terrible that it's a bad place now. Old Clarksville. It was like Clarksville was like, so I'm in North Carolina, just where we're from in North Carolina, and it was like 3 turns from my house to her house, because 40, you know, runs like all the way there.
1 minute,
And so
40.2,
we could jump on 40, and it was legit like maybe 5 turns at the max from like my driveway to her driveway. It was awesome. It was just super easy to get there. But she is at Lewis McCord now in Washington State, which is not 5 turns. I've never been there actually. What does that say? Clarksville. It's boring. I mean, anywhere can be boring. One time we were down in Atlanta, and this guy was like, there's not much going on. You know, everything kind of closes about this time. You are in Atlanta. I was like, for real? You understand, Atlanta has like a population of like 9 times of where we're from. We're trying to take kids to the underground. It was closed. I'm going to pull over here in the pits and let the leaders go by, because I am not at all taking this race serious.
white flag, white flag.
Oh. Oh, mate. This is the longest pit stop I think I've ever been in.
Okay, go.
So I gotta hold my position.
2 minutes, 29.563.
4 seconds. 4 seconds back. There's another one of those universities out there. I think it was called Strayer. Strayer, I think was the name of it. I don't know what happened to them. I think they were part of that. Oh, I looped it. I think they were part of that deal that got like busted doing things with like veterans' money and stuff. I think that was Strayer. I could be wrong.
Good race, 5.
Worked 2 years and moved somewhere else. Well, the thing about becoming an LPN, I don't know if Tennessee is a compact state, but North Carolina is a compact state. There's these things called compact states. And basically, like, your nursing license is good in any single compact state. So, you know, like, I know New York is one of them. So if I, like, move from North Carolina to New York, I don't have to retake the NCLEX, which
Alright, there's the
is
ticket
really
flag.
good.
Great job, you did really well.
Don't want to go around. So it's really easy to transfer your license. It's really easy to transfer your license from state to state because of the compact. So, let me check that very first lap. That very first lap wreck. What did that do? Like, yeah, it's called compact states. So I don't know if Tennessee is one or not. I know Massachusetts isn't because we just got a new nurse from Massachusetts, and he had to retake the NCLEX, but yeah, you don't have to retake the NCLEX if you're in a compact state, which is awesome. And like all your stuff is good. Like all my stuff is good wherever I go from North Carolina. Nah, he come down on me. Yeah, he come down on me on that one. Let's look at that from the blimp. Well, there is no blimp. Is there a chopper cam? Yeah, 'cause I'm holding my line. I don't remember if that's slow or not. Yeah, that was all him. Hold on, I'm gonna grab some water. I'm gonna go to bed because it is midnight my time. I am tired. I done put 3 girls to bed. I am tired. So I will catch you upon the flip side, my man, my person, because I sleepies. So